Hello and welcome to another UC Partner Trend session. I'm Tom Wright and I'm delighted to be joined by Stephen from Zero. How's it going, Stephen? Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, Tom. Great to be here. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great to have you, and we've got a really interesting topic today. We're looking at multi-UCaaS. I think from an MSP perspective, it's not uncommon for an MSP to go all in on one UCaaS platform, perhaps one of the biggest ones that are out there. But you've built a sort of really impressive multi-UCaaS foundation. I just wonder if you could start by talking us through kind of the rationale behind that and where you're seeing success.
Yeah, absolutely. So, from our perspective, our focus is always on customer requirements. That's what drives everything we do. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel or overly anticipate. We really get our direction and our strategy comes from what we're hearing from our clients every day. And the reason that we feel that having multi-platform, so we work with Microsoft and Cisco predominantly in our space, is that based on what customers' needs are, we need these two platforms and oftentimes to work together and be integrated. There's a lot of hybrid environments out there that exist for various reasons and could be from a specific vertical perspective. Healthcare is one, where there are a lot of the knowledge workers and frontline workers are on a Microsoft platform, and then a lot of the more uber critical infrastructure, like the ERs, are going to maintain and stay on a Cisco on-prem environment. So really helpful for us just to complement our customers and be ensure that we could address all their needs. Because we're so focused on telephony and contact center, and that's all we do. I don't want to be in a situation where I tell a customer, well, I can do like 70% or 80% of this, but for that stuff, well, you really need to go find somebody else. We want to be their service provider, their partner as it relates to everything telephony and contact center related. So it's important. It's important for us to have that flexibility and capability, if you will.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're very kind of customer focused. And I just wonder if you think about the customers you're working with, it's very possible that they're using more than one UCaaS platform, whether that's permanently or whether they're going through a transition. I just wonder if you could talk through some of the biggest challenges they're facing at the moment when they're running a couple of UCaaS platforms.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I don't want this to sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth because I'm not. So, like in a perfect world, I do believe customers would be on one single platform because the user experience there will just be the simplest, easiest. And our ultimate goal is always thinking about that end user. How do we create the best experience for them? How do we provide them the most confidence to work on wherever device they are and whatever physical location they are? They can access their communications and be as effective as they want to be. And they do that through having confidence in their tools and knowing that they can use them regardless of their situation. That said, some of the downside of having multiple platforms is that, right? There's a little bit of confusion of when do I use what? And there's still some organizations where they're still kind of battling out who's going to win, which platform is going to be right. Is it going to be Microsoft? Is it going to be Cisco and whatnot? And it's like we're using Microsoft, for external calling. We're using Cisco for internal, just kind of making up a potential scenario or that we've seen actually. So for the user, then it becomes a little bit confusing of what they use for what. So that's not a great overall experience. Becomes costly. I still have to manage multiple systems, and so I'm kind of doubling my costs. I need extra skills internally to figure out who manage what is what. When it comes to support and troubleshooting, where do I go? Where do I identify the problem? Because these systems and technology running on a Microsoft platform or a Cisco, they do things differently. There's different languages, there's different skills required, there's different other systems that are affected by this. So it becomes complicated, costly, and that's not ideal. I think the other challenge that comes with multiple platforms is a little bit this notion of stagnation. As customers want to evolve their practice, take more advantage of their overall communication strategy, whether that mean by analytics, delving deeper into AI and things co-pilot related or whatnot, or just other integrations into core platforms they have, like their CRM of, Salesforce or their ServiceNet platform. When you've got multiple, communication platforms that you're running, it kind of doesn't allow you or give you the confidence to invest and start developing and taking advantage of this because you're a little bit sitting on the fence waiting for things to happen. So while in some cases it's a requirement because there's things we need to do that one platform cannot, but otherwise I think having multiple platforms can slow you down and inhibit you from really getting the most value possible from the technology.
Yeah, and you mentioned some of the challenges on the end user side, but I guess from an admin perspective as well, it can be tricky to provision and service just one UCaaS platform, let alone two. So just wonder kind of what you're seeing in terms of challenges on the service management side of things and how you're helping businesses there.
Yeah, so I think the challenges are all over the place, right? Because part of the value and reason customers want to consolidate some of these technologies and tools that they have is to provide an easier management and more cost-effective way internally. What we're seeing this massive trend, especially with a lot of the success that Microsoft is having in the market, is the traditional telecom skills are morphing into becoming IT skills and having to get a lot more comfortable with Entra AD, the overall Office 365 portals, Teams Admin Center, and whatnot, which are very different from what you would find in a more engineering environment and telephony environment, like a call manager or whatnot. So the challenge there is really different folks doing different things, but that have to come together to make some basic changes. One of the things that we've done is built a platform that kind of becomes a front end and takes away the requirement for having specific knowledge of a Microsoft platform or a Cisco platform, and a simple front end GUI that people like myself can use. And I don't need to have telephony knowledge. I don't need to have specific vendor manufacturer knowledge, but I can go in and affect changes in a safe and secure fashion and get the jobs done that I need to get done. And so we're constantly building out ways to simplify and automate these transactions so you're not dependent on specific vendor knowledge. It's making a huge difference and something that our customers are really clinging to for their day-to-day administrative operations.
Yeah, but I think to go a step further, if UCaaS isn't enough, there's other technologies kind of being folded in and integrated into these platforms. I think you mentioned CRM and ServiceNow. The other big one, obviously, is customer experience and contact center technology. So I just wonder if you could talk through what you're seeing in terms of the convergence of those two technologies and how you're helping organizations bring those two together.
Absolutely, Tom. So I haven't seen, and look, I started in my career in telephony and communications in 2004 when I was at Cisco. It's rare to have a telephony conversation that's not related to a customer experience or contact center conversation. They kind of go hand in hand. And that hasn't changed over the last, 20 years, and I don't expect it to change. What is changing is the how, because the contact center, as we use it and as we know it, is getting disrupted in a massive way. The technologies that are available, and again, I don't want to be too buzzwordy, but all Gen AI related, which are maybe our capabilities that have existed for a long time, are now coming to the forefront and providing customers the ability to address certain areas of the business and certain requirements, whether it's customer service, whether it's customer relationships and whatnot, in different ways with different applications. And it's making it a lot easier to address these without having to build out these massive systems that are very effective but can be somewhat cumbersome. So I think the integrations of these systems are huge, but I think what we think of as contact center as we know it, maybe even as early as next year, is going to be completely different. Because the challenge around contact center is building out the queues and the systems to anticipate all of the potential ways a customer may want to interact, get information, transact, or whatnot with us as a vendor or whatnot. But in the new world, where I can go up to any system in any natural language and just ask the question and have the system adapt to me, really changes the game. And so we see already there's so many innovative companies doing some really interesting things in that space that tie into telephony. I think it's going to help customers move quicker, be more nimble, be able to adjust on the fly as their end user customers requirements change. I think it is a extremely exciting time, and we're going to see some massive innovations that the benefits will be for all the end users who, when they want to get information, when they want to do something, it's going to be super simple and easy, because today it's still a little tough.
Yeah, I think you're right. It
Did I
certainly
did I
is.
answer your question well there? I don't know if I nailed it for you, but How would you
I
say?
think you did. You
Okay.
actually were leading quite nicely into the next question as well, so I think it was perfect.
Okay, great.
Great. So I think you're right. It certainly is an exciting time for the industry, and I'd actually like to finish by asking a couple of questions about Zero, if that's okay.
Sure.
You won MSP of the Year at the UC Partner Awards towards the back end of last year, so it'd be good to get an idea of kind of where you're focusing this year, because I know you work with end users, but I think you're doing some interesting stuff in terms of building out a channel of partners as well. So just talk us through where you're focusing at the moment and who would really benefit from working with you.
Yeah, so we've got a lot going on today, and in fact, uh, the market is presenting us with more and more opportunities as customers' needs evolving and the technology becomes readily available for us to uh, access, develop on, and mold. So there's kind of three key areas where you're going to see some advancements for us from an innovation perspective. Um, One again is all around this customer experience, and we're leaning in fairly hard around all of the Gen AI capabilities to see how we can help customers improve around customer experience, digital assistance, and build out on customer relationships, whether through Copilot specifically with Microsoft, which we're going to be leaning in hard to as they are a core platform and key strategic partner of ours, and some of the things we'll develop on our own where we can help customers affect those specific areas of their business in a very simple, easy way and start managing, tracking, building out KPIs there to help manage that success. So that's one area that we're going to be investing in. We've already started to, and you're going to see some stuff coming out from us later in the year. A second one is all around more vertical focused and vertical specific solutions. So an example is around healthcare. There's some really special and impactful integrations between some of the platforms we're using, Microsoft specifically, and some healthcare applications like Epic, for one, as an example. And we've started already to build out some use cases with our strategic partners and being able to see some real tangible benefits on frontline workers in hospitals. Benefits up to the point of where we've seen some studies done by the actual hospitals themselves where they're saving almost an hour per nurse per shift, which is tremendous savings when you think about the shortages that exist with nurses across the country and what that impact could be on the level of service and cost within a hospital. It's huge. So you're going to see more and more vertical focused solutions coming out from us in the communication space. Number one on healthcare, and then the financial services industry as well. We see a lot of opportunity there to be more focused and have, again, business vertical focused solutions to help make a much more tangible business impact on them. That's another one. And the third one is all around our platform. So today, we have a platform that exists really from end to end. And I think one of the things that differentiates us most from a lot of the companies in the industry is we feel very comfortable and confident saying that we've got the most complete Microsoft Teams calling offer in the market. And what I mean by that is, or where does that come from? Because that's like, hey, we're making up a story. Well, the fact of the matter is, we're the only company that's focusing on the entire customer journey from day zero, where they're in the consideration, exploration, kind of needs assessment phase, through implementation to day two. And you've seen the same studies as I have from Gartner and Forrester and whatnot, is 80+% of that TCO of the technology lives in day two and beyond once this thing is implemented and they've got to use it and manage it. So our platform already goes across the entire customer journey, but we're really looking to automate almost the entire thing from A to Z. We're pretty close, but there's a couple of advancements and integrations we need to make it super smooth from day zero all the way through day two. And the ultimate outcome and goal for a customer is speed. Okay, we already believe that we can deliver the fastest time to value for a customer, but we want to move these deployments down from months to not just weeks, but to days. And we're pretty close on being able to do that. And when you think about deployments that are taking a long time, especially the larger ones where you've got thousands of users and hundreds of sites, instead of these projects, being like climbing Mount Everest and there's such a heavy lift and that kind of deters people from doing it, we want to make it simple and easy and get this stuff done in days. And we're almost there to affect that, which is which is really special. So speed is one, and the other one is accuracy. We want these to be no risk, almost non-events, and moving your customer over from whatever on-prem platform they're on today into the cloud and being able to reap all the benefits of that. So those are really the three key areas that we're putting all our focus, and we think are going to have a real impact on the industry and the market.
It sounds like you're going to have a very busy year, which is fantastic. And I hope, Stephen, we can catch up throughout the year and just chat about some of these things, as they come to fruition and as they kind of come to the market. But in the meantime, it's been great talking to you. I appreciate you taking the time.
It's a real pleasure, Tom. Thanks for having me today.
And thank you, everyone, for watching. Remember, you can follow the full UC Partner Trend series on uctoday.com. I'm Tom Wright. Thanks for watching.